The human engineer pressed his hand against the cold metal wall of the alien warship. The corridor around him was dark, lit only by faint blue lights that flickered like dying stars. Smoke drifted through the air, and every step echoed like a whisper in an empty cave. Somewhere deep inside the ship, something growled. He pushed forward, coughing, his toolkit hanging from his shoulder. He was not a soldier. He was not trained for war. But the mission had gone wrong, and now he was the only one left alive, alone on a ship that was not made for human hands. When he reached the chamber at the end of the corridor, he froze. On the floor lay an alien woman. Her skin glowed faint, silver under the broken lights, and her armor shimmered like liquid crystal. She was tall, elegant, her face sharp and strange, but her eyes, closed now, looked almost human. Her chestplate was cracked, leaking a dim, pulsing light like the glow of a dying ember. He dropped to his knees beside her. The armor wasn't just broken. It was bleeding. A strange, dark liquid dripped onto the floor, moving like it was alive. He reached for his toolkit. "Hold on," he whispered, even though he knew she might not understand his words. As his hand brushed the damaged chestplate, her eyes snapped open. Silver eyes locked onto him. Weak, but fierce. She grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. Her lips moved. Her voice was soft, rough, but clear enough for him to understand. "Careful," she whispered. He froze, not because of her words, but because of what he felt under his hand. The chestplate was beating, like a heart. He pulled his hand back in shock. His breath caught. This was no ordinary armor. It was alive. Her grip loosened. Her head tilted slightly, as if the effort of speaking drained her. It is not metal," she said slowly. "It is part of me." He looked closer. The armor was fused into her skin. Veins of light ran from the cracks in the plate across her chest, disappearing under her skin like roots under soil. It wasn't a machine, it wasn't clothing, it was a living thing. The engineer swallowed hard. He had repaired machines, engines, and broken ships. But this was something else. The ship groaned, metal bending as if something massive pressed against the hull. He glanced at the ceiling. They didn't have time. Whatever hunted them outside was still there. He forced himself to focus. "If I don't fix this, you'll die," he said, more to himself than to her. He reached again for his toolkit, but the moment his fingers touched the glowing crack, the chestplate twitched. It moved under his touch. He jerked his hand back again. The armor pulsed brighter, and strange symbols lit up across its surface, symbols that glowed and crawled like fireflies. They weren't written. They were alive, moving, changing shape. His heart pounded. He felt sweat on his neck. What is this?" The alien woman struggled to breathe. Her voice was thin, but urgent. "Symbiotic. Armor. It protects. It lives. If you touch it wrong, it kills." He stared at her, then at the chestplate. He should walk away. He should let her die. But something inside him refused. He couldn't leave her here. He steadied his shaking hands and leaned closer. The symbols shifted as if they were watching him. His fingers brushed the glowing crack again. This time the armor didn't fight him. Instead, the symbols reacted. They turned, forming shapes he almost recognized. Circles, lines, patterns. His vision blurred. For a second, he thought he saw words, not in her language, but in his. English. His breath caught. The armor was speaking to him. The alien woman's eyes widened. She forced out a sharp breath. "No, it cannot be." The engineer's mind reeled. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to be part of this. Yet the armor, the living armor, was responding to him. The pulsing light in the chestplate grew brighter, matching the rhythm of his heartbeat. He felt warmth spreading from his fingertips up his arm, like invisible veins crawling under his skin. The alien's hand trembled as she reached up, touching his wrist again. Her silver eyes burned with something between fear and awe. It recognized you, she whispered. The chamber shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Something slammed into the hull, hard enough to dent metal. The ship screamed around them, and the floor vibrated beneath his knees. He looked at her, then at the chest plate, then at the ceiling. Whatever was outside was coming closer, tearing the ship apart piece by piece. But in that moment, one thing was certain. He was no longer just an engineer. The armor had chosen him, and that meant the hunt wasn't just for her anymore. It was for him too. The ship shook again, harder this time. The walls groaned as cracks spread through the alien metal. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Somewhere in the distance, a deep thud echoed, like claws scraping against steel. The human engineer's pulse raced. He pressed down on the alien woman's chest plate, trying to keep the glowing crack from spreading. The warmth from the living armor crawled up his arm again, hotter now, stronger, almost like it wanted more of him. The alien woman coughed, her voice thin but sharp. "Stop. Don't force it." He looked down at her silver eyes. Sweat dripped from his brow. "If I don't fix this, you'll die." Her lips curved into something like a tired smile. "If you fix it wrong, we both die." The words sank into him like ice. His hands trembled, but he didn't move away. The armor was still pulsing under his palm, its rhythm beating faster, closer to his own heart. "Listen," she whispered. Her voice was weak, but her tone was commanding, as if she had spoken these words 100 times before. "The armor is symbiotic. It lives with us, it grows with us. If you try to repair it like a machine, it will see you as an enemy." The engineer's throat tightened. "Then what do I do?" Her eyes fluttered, heavy with exhaustion. "You do nothing. You let it decide." He frowned. "Let it decide?" Her gaze sharpened, piercing through the haze of pain. "It is alive. It chooses who may touch it. It chooses who may command it. You should not be chosen." He swallowed. Hard. The way she said it made him uneasy, like he had already broken some ancient rule. "But it reacted to me. It showed me something. Symbols. Words I understood." Her face paled. Her breath caught. "Impossible." The ship rumbled again, this time closer. The floor trembled under them. A high-pitched screech pierced through the walls. Something was crawling across the hull, searching. The human clenched, his jaw. He wanted to run, to hide, but the woman's eyes held him in place. "What did it show you?" she asked. He hesitated. It showed me English. My language." Her body stiffened. Even injured, her hand shot out and grabbed his wrist with sudden strength. "Then it has recognized you." He stared at her in disbelief. "Recognized me for what?" Her voice dropped, almost a whisper. "As a host." The word made his chest tighten. He looked at the glowing chest plate again. The cracks were spreading slowly, light leaking out like blood. The living armor pulsed in rhythm with his heart, beating faster with every second. A host. That meant it wasn't repairing because of his skills. It was repairing because it wanted him. Before he could speak, the ship shuddered violently. A section of the wall split open, and freezing air rushed in. The sound of metal tearing echoed through the chamber. The enemy was breaking through. The alien woman tried to push herself up, but her body shook too much. "You have to leave," she gasped. "If they find you with it, they will kill you." The engineer shook his head. "I'm not leaving you. Here." Her silver eyes glared at him, full of fire despite her weakness. "You don't understand. They are not hunting me. They are hunting this." She tapped weakly at her cracked chest plate. "The armor. It is ancient. Forbidden. They will destroy anyone who carries it." He opened his mouth to argue, but stopped when he heard it. A hiss. A clicking sound. Then a shadow moved in the corridor. Outside, the human's blood ran cold. A long, sharp leg stabbed into the wall, pulling the rest of the creature through the gap. Its body was insect-like, but made of dark metal, its eyes glowing red. A drone. It crawled inside, screeching, its claws slicing sparks from the floor. The alien woman tried to raise her arm, but her strength failed her. The drone rushed forward. The human reacted without thinking. He grabbed a broken metal pipe from the floor and swung. The drone shrieked as sparks flew, but the pipe bent like paper against its armored hide. The drone's red eyes turned toward him. It hissed, ready to strike. Then the chest plate pulsed. Bright light flared under his palm. The living armor spread warmth through his body, faster, deeper, until it reached his chest. He felt it crawling under his skin, veins of light racing up his arm. The drone froze. Its claws stopped midair. Its head tilted slightly as if confused. Then, slowly, it lowered itself to the ground. The engineer's chest heaved, his heart thundered in his ears. The armor wasn't just keeping him connected, it was controlling the drone. The alien woman's eyes widened in shock. She whispered with a mixture of fear and awe. "It obeys you." The engineer stumbled back, his hand still pressed to the glowing crack. The drone's red eyes were locked on him, unblinking, waiting. "No," he whispered to himself. "This isn't possible." The alien woman shook her head weakly. "It should not be, but it is." Another screech echoed from the corridor. More drones, many more. The human swallowed, staring at the one kneeling before him. Its eyes glowed, brighter, waiting for a command. His breath caught. His hand trembled, and then he realized the enemy outside wasn't here to kill them. They were here to obey him. The choice. The drone knelt in silence, its sharp claws folded against the metal floor. Its red eyes glowed like tiny fires fixed on the human. The ship around them groaned as more scraping sounds echoed in the distance. The engineer's hands shook. His throat was dry. He had never commanded anything in his life. Not soldiers, not machines, not even people. He was just an engineer. Yet here, in the broken chamber of an alien warship, something alive and powerful was waiting for his word. The alien woman stared at the kneeling drone, her silver eyes wide. "It should not be possible," she whispered. "The swarm does not. Bow, not to my people, not to anyone." The engineer swallowed hard. "Then why is it bowing to me?" Her lips trembled as she spoke. "Because the armor chose you." He looked down at the glowing chest plate under his palm. The cracks were still there, but the light no longer looked weak. It pulsed with strength, matching his own heartbeat. The warmth inside him spread further, crawling across his chest, seeping into his veins. He pulled his hand away, but the light didn't fade. It was already inside him. The woman's voice grew tense, urgent. "Listen to me. You are not meant for this. My people. Only we can survive bonding with the symbiotic armor. Humans. It will consume you." He took a shaky step back. "Then I don't want it. Take it off me." She shook her head slowly, her hair falling across her pale face. "You cannot remove it now. It is already chosen. The bond is formed." His chest tightened. Fear gripped him like cold iron. He hadn't asked for this, he didn't want this. All he wanted was to survive, fix the ship, and find a way home. Instead, the armor had made him something else. From the corridor came another hiss. Another drone crawled into view. Its red eyes glared at him. He raised the pipe in his hand, heart pounding, but instead of attacking, the second drone also lowered itself. It bowed. The sound of claws against metal echoed again. More drones appeared. 3, 5, 7. One by one, they stepped into the chamber, surrounding him and the alien woman. And every single one of them bowed. The engineer's breath caught. His legs felt weak. His mind screamed at him to run, to escape, but there was nowhere to go. The alien woman's voice shook. "Do you understand what this means? The swarm will follow you, they will obey your command, you are their master now." He shook his head, stepping back until his shoulders hit the wall. "No, I can't. I'm not a leader. I'm not." The drones clicked their claws, restless. Their eyes glowed brighter, as if hungry for direction. The alien woman's hand tightened on his wrist. You must choose. Either control them or be destroyed by them. Her words cut deep. He looked at the swarm circling them. Their bodies twitched, their claws scraped the floor, but none moved without his order. They were waiting for his choice. His chest burned where the armor's light had spread. He felt their presence in his mind now. Not just the woman's voice, but hundreds of whispers. Cold, mechanical, unfeeling. The swarm was inside him, pressing at the edge of his thoughts. He squeezed his eyes shut. His breath came fast and shallow. If I command them, what happens to me? The alien woman's expression was grim. You will not be the same. The armor does not share its power without cost. It will change you. Change me how? He demanded. Her gaze held both fear and sadness. Into something not human. The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the faint clicking of the drones. His mind spun. He thought of home, of Earth, of the people he had left behind. If he gave in to this thing, would he ever see them again? Would he still be himself? But then he looked at her. She was bleeding, weak, barely able to hold herself up. Without the armor repaired, she would die. Without someone to guide the swarm, they would both die. He clenched his fists. He had no choice. The ship shook violently, throwing sparks across the chamber. The drones hissed and shifted. They were impatient now, restless, waiting for him to speak. The engineer drew a shaky breath. Stop! The drones froze instantly. Every claw, every eye, every sound fell silent. The alien woman gasped softly, her silver eyes locking on him. They obey you. He stood there trembling, heart racing. The swarm's whispers quieted in his mind, waiting for his next command. The power was terrifying, heavy, almost unbearable. He looked down at his hands. They were glowing faintly, veins of light crawling beneath the skin. His voice cracked. What if I lose control? The alien woman's answer was simple and cold. Then you will destroy us all. The silence that followed was suffocating. The drones stared at him, waiting. The armor pulsed inside his chest, whispering, urging him forward. The choice was his, but he already knew. Whatever path he took, there was no going back. The enemy. The chamber was silent except for the faint hum of the living armor. The drones surrounded the human and the alien woman, all of them waiting, obedient, restless, ready. Their red eyes glowed like 100 watching stars. The engineer's chest burned as the warmth from the armor spread deeper into him. He could feel their thoughts pressing against his mind, cold, empty, hungry. They were not alive in the way he was alive, but they were connected to him now. They were listening. The alien woman struggled to sit up, her voice trembling. You must understand, these drones, they are not soldiers, they are not even machines, they are weapons. Once they are commanded, they will fight until nothing remains. The engineer clenched his fists. His voice cracked. Then why are they bowing? To me? She met his gaze, her silver eyes sharp despite her weakness. Because they believe you are their master. Because the armor has given you the authority. He shook his head. I don't want it. The ship shook again. A thunderous sound echoed through the metal walls. The floor vibrated beneath his. Boots and dust rained from above. The alien woman's eyes darkened. You may not want it, but others do. The words made him freeze. Before he could ask, the corridor outside erupted with noise. Heavy footsteps, the hiss of strange weapons, and then a roar that was not mechanical but alive. The drones hissed in unison, turning toward the sound. From the broken corridor came figures, taller than men, armored in jagged black metal, their eyes glowing the same red as the drones. They carried spears of burning plasma, and their movements were fast, precise, inhuman. The engineer's stomach twisted. These weren't drones. They weren't like the machines bowing before him. These were something else. Soldiers. Hunters. The alien woman's voice dropped to a whisper. They are not here for me. They are here for the armor. For you. The first of the black-armored hunters stepped into the chamber. Its head turned slowly, its gaze falling on the human. It tilted its head, almost curious. The drones hissed louder, their claws scraping the floor. The hunter raised its spear. The swarm looked to him. The engineer's chest tightened. He didn't want to speak. He didn't want this power. But the drones would not move unless he commanded. The hunter lunged. Attack! The word left his mouth before he could stop it. The chamber exploded into chaos. The drones leapt forward as one, their claws slicing through the air. The first hunter was dragged down under a tide of metal bodies, its spear shattering as the swarm tore it apart. Sparks and black liquid splashed across the floor. The engineer stumbled back, pressing against the wall. His chest burned hotter, the armor inside him surging with every movement of the swarm. He felt their hunger, their fury, their endless drive to kill. And worse, he felt their joy. The alien woman's voice cut through the noise, sharp and desperate. Do not lose control. If you fall into their instincts, they will consume you. He clenched his jaw, trying to fight the swarm's whispers in his head. But the battle raged on. More hunters pushed into the chamber, spears blazing. The drones met them with claws and teeth, the sound of tearing metal filling the air. One hunter broke through the chaos, charging straight at him. Its spear glowed white-hot, aimed for his chest. The human raised his hand in panic. The armor pulsed. A shield of light burst from his arm, catching the spear mid-strike. The impact shook his bones, but the weapon snapped in two. The hunter froze, eyes glowing brighter, and for the first time, it hesitated. The engineer gasped. He hadn't meant to do that. He hadn't even known he could. The swarm felt his surge of power. They roared louder, feeding on it, moving with greater speed. The hunters were being overwhelmed, torn apart piece by piece. The human dropped to his knees, clutching his chest. The warmth inside him was no longer warmth. It was fire. It was alive. The armor wasn't just bonded to him. It was merging with him. The alien woman crawled closer, her hand grabbing his shoulder. You must stop this. The more you command them, the stronger the bond becomes. You will lose yourself. His eyes burned as he looked at her. If I stop, we die. Her voice shook. And if you continue, you may never be human again. The words cut deep, but there was no time to answer. The last hunter fell, torn apart by claws. Silence filled the chamber. The drones stood victorious, their bodies dripping with black liquid, their red eyes glowing brighter than before. They turned to him. Every single one of them bowed. The human's chest heaved. His hands glowed faintly with the same red light as their eyes. He could feel them inside him now, deeper, stronger, whispering to obey, to fight, to conquer. The alien woman's silver eyes burned with fear. They see you as their commander, but soon they will see you as their god. Her words chilled him more than the battle ever could, because as the swarm knelt, he realized she was right. The enemy he had to fear most was not the hunters. It was himself. The chamber was quiet now, except for the faint drip of black liquid from the broken hunters. The drones crouched low, their red eyes glowing softly, waiting for a command. Their silence was worse than the battle. It felt like standing in the eye of a storm, still but heavy with danger. The engineer leaned against the wall, his chest heaving. The warmth of the armor had turned into a steady fire inside him. He felt stronger, faster, more aware. He could sense every drone around him, their weight, their focus, even their hunger. If he wanted, he knew he could guide them with a single thought, and that terrified him. The alien woman's silver eyes followed him as he struggled to catch his breath. She was pale, weak, but her voice carried a sharp edge. Now you understand why my people fear this armor. It was never meant for humans. It was never meant for anyone. He looked at her, sweat running down his face. Then why does it exist? Why make something like this at all? Her gaze dropped to the cracked chest plate still pulsing with light. Because once, long ago, my people wanted to rule everything. The engineer frowned. Rule everything? She nodded slowly, pain flickering in her eyes. The armor is not protection. It is command. It was created to lead the swarm. Whoever wears it becomes the master of countless machines, an army with no end, an army that never stops. His stomach twisted. He glanced at the drones bowing before him, their claws tapping faintly against the floor. A shiver crawled up his spine. You mean I could control all of them? Her eyes burned with warning. Yes, not just these. All of them. Across stars. Across worlds. The swarm is endless. And now they hear your voice. He felt his chest tighten. Endless. The word echoed in his mind. He didn't want this power. He wasn't a soldier, wasn't a leader, he was just an engineer. But the armor didn't care. The swarm didn't care. And deep down, part of him wondered, if he did control them, what could he do? The alien woman leaned closer, her voice a strained whisper. Do not let the thought tempt you. The armor does not give. It takes. With every command, with every battle, it will feed on you. Soon you will not know where it ends and where you begin. The engineer looked down at his hands. The faint glow beneath his skin pulsed brighter, almost mocking him. He shook his head. Then I'll destroy it, I'll tear it off. Her laugh was hollow, bitter. You cannot. It chose you. It is part of you now. The ship groaned, a low thunder rolling through its broken bones. More shadows shifted in the corridor. More enemies coming. The drones hissed, claws clattering against the floor. They were eager, restless. The human pressed his hands against his skull. He could feel them. Thousands of whispers crawling through his mind beyond this ship, beyond this world. He wasn't just hearing the drones in front of him. He was hearing the swarm across the stars. A galaxy of red eyes turning toward him. His breath quickened. They're everywhere. The alien woman's face was grave. Yes. And now they are waiting for you to speak. The realization hit him like a punch. He wasn't in control of a handful of drones. He was in control of a legion. The swarm wasn't hunting them. The swarm was waiting for him. The thought made his stomach twist with fear, and something darker, a spark of power, a dangerous whisper inside his head. What if you used them? What if you gave the order? He shook the thought away, clenching his fists. I don't want this, I don't want them. The alien woman stared at him, her voice quiet but sharp. Then you must choose. Either reject it and burn with it, or accept it and live as something else. He looked at her, his heart racing. Something else? What do you mean? She held his gaze. Not human, never human again. The words froze him. Before he could answer, the corridor erupted with noise. Dozens of hunters stormed into view, their spears burning bright. Behind them came something larger, towering, armored like a walking fortress. Its eyes burned brighter than the rest, and its voice was a deep metallic roar. The drones hissed, louder but did not move. They were still waiting for his command. The engineer's chest throbbed with fire. The swarm's whispers pressed harder against his mind, urging him to act. His throat tightened. He had the power to end this battle in an instant. One word, and the hunters would be torn apart. But at what cost? The alien woman grabbed his arm, her voice urgent. Do not command them again. Every order feeds the bond. Every battle makes you less human. If you give in now, you will never escape. The hunters raised their weapons. The fortress-like leader stepped forward, its voice a booming growl. Surrender the host. Surrender the armor. The human stood frozen, his heart hammering in his chest. He had a choice. Save them both by unleashing the swarm, or stay silent and be destroyed. The drones leaned forward, ready to strike. Their red eyes burned brighter, hungry for his word. His voice cracked in a whisper only he could hear. I'm not a leader. I'm not a god. But the swarm whispered back in his mind. Cold, hungry, certain. You are now. The chamber shook as the hunters closed in. Their burning spears lit the corridor with orange fire. The towering leader stepped forward, its heavy footsteps shaking the floor. The swarm of drones hissed, restless claws scraping the metal ground. The human engineer stood between them all, between death and power. His chest burned with the pulse of the living armor, its fire crawling through his veins. His heart and the swarm's whispers beat as one. He knew that with a single word he could end this, but the alien woman's voice cut through the storm. Weak, desperate, but sharp as steel. Do not command them. If you do, there will be no turning back. Her silver eyes pierced him, full of fear, not for herself but for him. The hunters raised their weapons. The drones growled low, waiting for him to speak. The air was electric, the silence heavy. The leader of the hunters roared, "The host belongs to us. The armor belongs to us. Surrender, or be consumed." The engineer's hand shook. Sweat ran down his face. His mind screamed to fight, to release the swarm. He could feel their hunger pressing against him, begging to be unleashed. The armor whispered inside his chest, its voice smooth and cold. Command, conquer, survive. But the alien woman grabbed his wrist, her hand trembling. If you choose the swarm now, you will never be free. It will own you, forever. He stared at her, torn. If he unleashed the swarm, they could win. They could survive. But every battle made the armor stronger. Every command tied him deeper. Then what do I do? He whispered, his voice breaking. Her breath came ragged, but her words were steady. There's only one way. Burn it out. Destroy it. Even if it kills us both. His chest tightened. Burn it out. End the bond. He looked at the glowing cracks of her chest plate, then at his own hands, faintly glowing with the same light. Destroy it? He asked, almost in disbelief. Her silver eyes glistened with pain. Yes, before it consumes you. Before it consumes everything. The hunters stepped closer, their spears raised high. The fortress leader raised its weapon, its roar shaking the walls. The engineer's heart pounded. He looked at the alien woman, weak, broken, yet still fighting. He looked at the swarm, bowing, waiting, ready to kill for him. And then he knew. There was no winning both ways, no saving her and himself, no easy choice. It was sacrifice or surrender. His throat tightened. If I burn it out, what happens to me? The alien woman's gaze softened. You die, but you die human. The fire inside him throbbed. The swarm's whispers grew louder, angry, pressing into his skull. Do not reject us. You are ours. You are infinite. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. The whispers clawed at his mind, showing him visions, galaxies on fire, fleets bowing before him, entire worlds kneeling. Power without end. But then another. Vision cut through it, his own reflection, his own human face, and the thought of losing it forever. He lifted his head, sweat dripping, eyes burning with decision. Tell me how. The alien woman leaned closer, her voice raw. Place your hand on my chest plate. Pour everything back into it. Burn it until it cannot hold. Together, we end it. The hunters roared again, storming forward. The swarm turned, ready to fight, their red eyes blazing. They wanted his command. The engineer pressed his palm against the cracked chest plate. The glow flared brighter than before, burning his skin. Pain shot through his arm like fire, but he didn't move. The alien woman gasped, her body shaking. Now, give it all. He clenched his teeth and let go. The fire inside him surged, pouring out through his hand. His veins burned, his chest felt like it was ripping open, but he forced more into the armor. The glowing cracks screamed with light spreading across the woman's chest like lightning. The swarm shrieked in unison, their bodies convulsed, red eyes flickering, claws tearing at the floor. The whispers in his head turned to screams. No, you are ours, do not leave. He cried out but pushed harder, his vision blurred, his body trembling, every nerve on fire. The hunters froze in place, their leader roaring in fury as the light spread. Through the chamber, the alien woman gripped his hand, her silver eyes locked on his. "Do not stop. Burn it all," he screamed, forcing the last of his strength into the chest plate. The fire consumed him, tearing through his body like a storm. He felt his heart falter, his breath weaken, but he didn't let go. The chamber exploded with light. The drones collapsed, their bodies falling lifeless to the floor. The hunters screamed as their armor cracked and shattered, their bodies dissolving into ash. The fortress leader roared one last time before bursting apart, fragments scattering into the void. And then there was silence. The engineer fell forward, collapsing against the alien woman. His chest barely rose, his skin glowing faintly like dying embers. Her arms caught him, weak but steady. She looked down at him, her eyes wide with sorrow. "You gave everything," she whispered. He tried to smile, his voice faint. "At least I chose." The glow on his skin flickered. His body grew still. The alien woman pressed her forehead against his, a single tear tracing down her silver cheek. "You are human, to the end." The ship groaned around them, broken and dying. The swarm was gone. The hunters were gone. But so was he. The alien warship drifted in silence, its hull torn open, sparks flickering like dying stars in the void. No drones, no hunters, no swarm, only ruins, floating through the endless dark. Rescue lights cut across the wreck hours later. A human salvage team boarded cautiously, their boots echoing in the hollow corridors. Their voices were hushed as though afraid the shadows might answer back. The leader of the team, Captain Harlow, raised his torch. "Spread out. Look for survivors. Command wants proof of what happened here." The air was thick with smoke and ash. Strange black liquid coated the walls like dried blood. The team moved carefully, stepping over broken armor and shattered alien steel. Then one of the crew called out, "Captain, over here!" They rushed to a chamber deep in the wreck. There, lying against the cracked wall, was the alien woman. Pale, weak, her chest plate shattered and dark, no longer glowing. She breathed faintly, eyes half closed. Captain Harlow knelt beside her. "Alive. She's alive." Relief softened his voice. The crew worked quickly, scanning her vitals. She was injured but stable. But when they asked if there were others, her silver eyes opened. Her voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. "There was a human." The team exchanged uneasy glances. A human? On an alien warship? Impossible. Captain Harlow leaned closer. "Where is he?" The alien woman's gaze drifted to the floor. Her hand trembled as she touched the empty space beside her. "He saved me," she whispered. "But the armor burned him away." Her eyes closed again, and silence filled the chamber. The team searched every corridor, every corner of the ship. They found broken drones, shattered hunters, and walls scarred by something far more powerful than any weapon they knew. But they never found the human's body, only ash. Back on their vessel, as the salvage ship pulled away, Captain Harlow stood at the viewport. The alien woman rested in the med bay, silent, refusing to speak further. But Harlow's eyes lingered on the wreck drifting in the distance. Something about it unsettled him. The ship wasn't just broken, it felt hollow, as though something had been taken from it. That night, as the crew slept, he sat alone in the command chair, staring into the void. The comm system crackled, faintly with static. He frowned, tapping the panel. And then he froze. Through the static came a voice. A human voice. "Careful." His blood turned cold. The word was faint, warped by distance but unmistakable. "Careful." The captain leaned, closer. "Who is this? Identify yourself." Silence. Then, faintly, like an echo from across the stars, "I'm still here." The comm went dead. Far away, beyond the wreck, beyond the reach of the rescue ship, something stirred in the dark. A swarm. Not gone, not destroyed, rebuilding. Millions of red eyes blinked awake across the void, turning toward a single presence. Not the alien woman, not the hunters, a human, their host, their commander, their chosen. In the heart of the swarm, where the whispers converged into one voice, a figure stood. His body was no longer bound by flesh alone. His veins glowed faintly, his eyes burned red, his chest pulsed with the fire of living armor. He was not entirely human anymore, but he was alive, and the swarm knelt before him. His lips curled into a faint smile, and his voice carried through the void, soft but steady. "Careful. The galaxy belongs to us now." Back on the rescue ship, the alien woman woke suddenly, her silver eyes wide with horror. She felt it, the bond. The swarm was alive again. And worse, the human was not lost. He had become something greater, something unstoppable. Her whisper filled the empty medbay, a single word of dread. Humanity. For centuries, her people had believed the swarm could never be controlled, that no human could survive the bond. But now, one had, and the galaxy would never be the same.